I've got a Harbor Freight manual tire changing tool here that does an excellent job of removing and installing tires, automotive tires on wheels. Plenty of videos out there on how to use this tool. The problem is that this tool is all steel and it has a tendency to scratch or mar up automotive rims that are aluminum. So this video is designed to show you how to make some adaptations to accommodate aluminum wheels without scratching them. There are some other videos online to do this, but unless you can weld and really construct things, it's going to be pretty challenging to do that. So nonetheless, let me show you the problem. Obviously here you can remedy the problem just with some rubber. The one that's really an issue is this part that pries off the tire. And so what I want to do is try to come up with a way to maintain this shape, but to provide some protection for the tool and for the wheel. So just want to share with you before we get started, I'm a pastor and a Christian, and I'd love if you took the opportunity to slide over to my other video on how to become a Christian. And with that said, let's get started. What I did was pick up this water line. This was actually laying in my neighborhood as scrap from some construction. And the shape is totally not important. So this was just cut like this because it was scrap. What is important is the material, which is a very hard plastic, and also the thickness. And you can see here, this is pretty thick material. So the next thing I want to do is using this, I'm going to draw out the shape of the end here, that same shape and size onto the material, and then cut that out. Out here with just a marker, pretty rough, but nonetheless I'm going to take my jigsaw next, or a hand scroll saw, and cut out that pattern. Pretty rough cut here, but the general shape is in place. I'm going to just take a file, a razor, get off these shavings, and maybe a hand saw, just clean this up so it has the right pattern exactly to match my tool. Okay, so there's my piece that is pretty well formed, and as you can see, it fits nicely right on the end. So the next thing I want to do is taper it a little thick on the point there, and I might need it to not be so blunt. So just using a regular grinder here, I'm just going to taper it a little bit here on the end to make it a little more form-fitting. Okay, I picked up a couple of things here hardware-wise. I've got 4 832 flathead machine screws, and then I bought some, I think these are 1024 by an inch bolts, nuts, lock washers, and flat washers. I bought a 1032 tap and handle. So all of this was less than $15 at my local hardware store. And so the next thing I'm going to do is I want to drill 2 holes for the 1032s, spaced evenly here and here, so that I can apply that to the bar in just a moment. So let's get those drilled first. Okay, and taking just a razor blade here, I have countersunk these holes. I don't know if you can quite see that. So that from this, these can sink down into the plastic, so when we apply it, they will not, the heads of the screws will not be a problem. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is mark these holes along the same spots on the tool. Mark those, drill those, and then tap them out. I'll let you take a peek in just a second. Using my tap, just going to thread each of the holes so that we can apply these screws in just a minute. And there's the finished product there, and you'll notice the countersunk holes prevent the screw heads from being a problem. So the only other place we want to address is just the bead breaker, and that should take care of the problem with mooring up. So let's take a peek at that next. Here we'll also mar the rims. This is part of the bead breaker. So I've cut some sidewall of a scrap tire, and I'm going to use 2-part epoxy and simply epoxy this down over, over the metal part here, and that'll prevent this from being a problem when I break the bead on the tire. Tire on my tire changing tool here. Just going to take a little soapy water, and dress up the bead here like this. And then if you zoom in here, you'll notice that the plastic here is on the rim, so that as I move the tool around, it slides right around and doesn't scar crossbar of the rim. So that little feature really makes a difference, protects the rim from being damaged. Hey, I just want to remind you that, hey, I'm a pastor and a Christian. Thanks for watching the video. If you get a chance, cruise over to my other one about how to become a Christian. Thanks for watching, and God bless.